Let me see.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Looks like my camera's not on.
Are you guys able to hear me? I can't hear
we
anything.
can hear you.
Looks like my camera's not working. You know what? I'm going to jump off for a second and come back in if I can get my camera working. I'll be right back. There I am. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we will start. I see Chief is off screen. We'll start in just a second here. Okay, please, as soon as Mary Helen get back, we'll start moving.
Joe Whiteman is not participating?
I don't see him. Okay, I think Mary Helen stepped away, but let's, there she is.
I'm here now.
Hi there.
Hi there.
And I call this meeting to order. So first of all, roll call. Lee.
Present.
Kimberly.
Present.
Mary Helen.
Here.
Chief Salazar.
His mic appears to be turned off.
Yeah, Chief, I don't know if you can hear us. Okay, Chief is here. And it looks like we also have Kenny Roybal and a Ms. Pierce. Okay, hi.
Hi.
So, as far as commission members, we are missing Joe Whiteman.
I talked to him today. He's in Albuquerque at a medical appointment, and he said that he would try to call in, but he wasn't sure he would be able to have a connection. So I think on his behalf, I'll ask that he be excused if he isn't able to make it.
Okay, thank you, Mary Helen. So yes, for the record, Joe Whiteman is excused for this meeting unless he joins later. If he joins later, we'll make a note of it. Okay, so first thing is the approval of the agenda from last month. Is there any discussion or questions about it?
Sorry, I can't hear anyone.
And who said that? Chief?
That was Chief Salazar.
Okay.
I think we might be able to hear him now. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for the October 21st meeting.
Seconded.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve from Kimberly and a second from Lee. All those in favor, raise your hand. Okay, all those opposed? Okay, so the motion to approve last month's agenda has passed. Okay, so we also need to approve the minutes from last month. Does anyone have any comments or questions about the minutes from last month?
Let me see.
Can you guys hear me?
Antonio, yeah, we can hear you. can you hear us?
I can't hear you.
Perhaps if he turned up the volume on his audio?
Yeah. I don't think he can hear us.
I don't think so. Let me avail myself of chat here.
Yes, you can chat to him.
I can't hear anyone.
Okay, now I think we can hear you.
All the way up?
Can you hear us? Well, as I always say,
Well, we can make sounds. We can keep talking until you hear us. That would help.
Okay, headphones.
Hi, Ms. Pierce. My name's Lee Einer, and I'm a member of the commission.
I'm going to try to back out and see if I can get back in and see if that works, because I still can't hear anyone.
okay,
And my volume is all the way up, but I'll be back.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
So why don't we continue with introductions for Ms. Pierce?
I'll go next. Hi, Terry. Great to see you. Haven't seen you in so long. As you know, I'm the Dean of Students at Highlands, but also serve on the commission as well.
Oh, okay.
Mary Helen,
Yes.
if you can introduce yourself for Terry.
Oh, hi. I'm Mary Helen Wickard. I was appointed to the commission. I am an attorney and I have some experience in criminal prosecution.
Hello there, Terry. I'm Roy Montalban. I'm the chair of the commission. I've been involved with working with our police department here as kind of a liaison between the community and the police department for probably over 10 years. So, Chief, can you hear us? I see your microphone is off, Chief.
Well, how can you hear you say that?
Well, he was able to hear us earlier,
Okay.
or we were able to hear him, but he couldn't hear us. It's the opposite. Sorry. Well, as I always say, we love technology, but it doesn't love us.
Hold on.
So, Chief, can you hear us? We can hear you.
No sound from my speech.
To let everybody know, I have problems with Google Meet audio coming out probably about every third time I use
Kenny, are you listening in? Are you able to help the chief out at all?
He might be able to get on his phone and access it.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you could suggest that. Just if he dials in, he can still watch the video, but then he can actually hear it over the phone.
Kim, while we're waiting, who's your director now of HU Cares?
We actually are in the process of searching for someone to fill that position. And it's a little bit different now, in which the position will be a director of health, education, and wellness, and advocacy services, or not necessarily advocacy, but any direct services are being handled by the student clinic. And so through that partnership, we have that contract with them. And so we'll have those positions. I think they're going to be searching for an additional position to help support those efforts at the clinic. But then our director of health, education, and wellness was on the phone with my assistant, asking her to reach out to human resources to get it posted.
They can hear me, but I can't hear them. I'll try on my phone. I'm going to try a couple more things and see if it'll go. I have some help in here as well. So.
Okay, good.
I'm looking too. I'm looking for a therapist, an additional therapist, an advocate. So if you know anybody, send them my way. I'll send them your way too.
Sounds good, Terry.
And what kind of advocate?
It's a domestic violence advocate.
Wow.
Terry is the executive director of the Tri-County Family Justice Center.
I
don't know Terry.
What you can hear is what?
Executive director of Family Justice Center's domestic violence agency here in Las Vegas. I've been there 16 years. Can you believe that? Boy, it went quick.
Very slow.
And we provide services to survivors and victims of domestic violence. We're the only domestic violence in the Tri-County area.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for joining our call.
My phone. I'm gonna log out of here or exit out of here, and I'll try on my phone.
Okay. Okay. Oh, there he is.
Chief, can you hear us now?
Chief, can you hear us?
Can you hear them now, Chief?
No.
Oh.
Mary Helen, your microphone is turned off. It really is. I'm not teasing.
You know what?
There we go.
I just fixed it.
What on earth is going on?
Will meet on for video, but call in for audio.
Roy, we cannot hear you. I can't hear you at this point.
I can hear you, but you sound sort of like you're underwater.
Kimberly, your microphone appears to be turned off.
Hang on.
I have it turned off, but I can hear you all.
Can you hear me now, Lee?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can hear
And
you.
I see a bunch of people moving their lips, and I can't hear them, so maybe I have a problem here.
I can hear you, Lee.
Okay. Mary Helen, you can hear me okay?
At what point do we write this one off as a misadventure of technology?
Let's give it a few more
Okay, I'm
minutes.
guessing you can hear me.
Yeah, let's see if the chief can join. Yeah, I found that Zoom is more reliable for both audio and video, although sometimes it crashes my entire computer right in the middle of a call. So.
My laptop, does this say anything about headphones?
Hey,
There's something that popped up about headphones, but I don't have.
Yeah, there's nothing plugged in.
Yeah, I don't have any headphones plugged in.
So, Chief, you still cannot hear us? Are those new glasses, Kimberly?
They are blue light glasses. I've
I
had
like
them
them.
for a while, but I wasn't using them. And I've been suffering from a migraine for about a month. So this is one of the recommendations to help my migraines.
Yeah, sorry to hear about the migraines, but the glasses look nice.
Thanks. I have a couple different pairs. Just they're inexpensive.
Yeah.
And I can switch them based on my outfit. So based on what matches for the day.
I think I'll get some of those. What are they called?
They are called blue light glasses. So whenever you are on a screen a lot, watching TV a lot, they're meant to kind of like buffer the direct impact to your eyes
From the computers. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been getting headaches too, but
you can find them fairly inexpensively on Amazon or other places. I have heard of people getting prescription blue light glasses as well. So that's an option also. But I have contacts in, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know, Kenny. It's your fault, though. I'm blaming it on you.
I'm wondering if it's not stuff running.
Anything technical stuff, just so you know, Kenny, I don't know if your ears are always constantly ringing. Any technical issues that I have, I always blame it on you. Oh, sorry, I moved the mouse. My bad.
Fine. Yep.
Lee, it looks like you're muted.
I just took care of that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you can hear us now?
Yes.
Very good.
Well, maybe I can follow up, Roy and Dr. Blay and Lee. I had taken the survey last time that got misplaced during the transition. I think it was Dr. Blaya's handwriting, and I just sent it all to you. I scanned it to you. I just hand wrote some more notes on there. My edits are in purple, and I tried to shrink it up because we want people to respond, not take too much of their time. And I categorized crimes. So I sent it to all of your emails like in the last few minutes while we're still messing around with these technical issues. So it's there on your email for you all. Any suggestions you have are fine with me.
Okay, thank you, Mary Helen.
Okay. I got that. Is discussion of the survey on the agenda?
No.
No, but I sent it to you anyway for your review.
No, we should not talk about it. Not today.
Okay. Yeah, well, we can't make any decisions on it today for sure.
Right.
But we can make a mental note to make it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah, yeah. And then, of course, we'll post it for the public to look at as well.
And it's typed format as opposed to the handwriting and scribbles and other colorful ink.
Thank you. So, sounds like a chief still can't hear us. Chief, I take it you can still not hear us.
Roy, given that we have a quorum, can we continue with the agenda, at least with the approval of the minutes that does not require direct interaction with the chief per se?
Yeah, we can do that. So does anyone have any comments or questions about last month's minute? Any discussion? Okay, if no discussion, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from last month? Looks like everyone's reading.
Rereading.
Chief, is the number ending in 33? Is that you? Okay, we just had someone join from phone number 33, ending in 36. So any discussion from the regarding the minutes from last month's meeting?
I was not present at the last month's meeting, so I won't be making a motion to.
I could just hear them on my little speaker. No. My what's it called? My computer.
Oh, okay.
Can I put it? Can we put it to the actual speakers?
I don't know if Mary Helen or Lee wants to make a motion to approve.
Okay, I move to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
And now Roy's mic is off.
So we have a motion to approve the minutes from last month from Lee and a second from Mary Helen. All those in favor, raise your hand. Mary Helen?
Yep, I'm here. I'm raising my hand.
Okay. Any opposed?
I will abstain.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So the minutes have been approved with one abstention from Kimberly. She was not here last month. Thank you. So we just had someone join from a 505 number ending in 33. Can you identify yourself? Oh, it might have been the chief. Okay.
Or it might have been Joe.
I don't think that's his number.
Okay.
Trying to get back on here. I've disappeared.
There you are.
Not Joe Whiteman.
That's not, I don't think that's Whiteman's number.
No, it's not.
Do we have anyone here for public input? I don't believe we do. Okay.
Well, I can hear everyone, but it's very faint, so be patient, please.
Okay, we can hear you, and we'll try to talk loud. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and proceed. It appears that we have no one present for public input. So we will move on to unfinished business, which is the city ordinance draft for the Las Vegas Police Advisory Commission. Do we have any discussion on that topic?
Well, we have two drafts. There were two competing ordinances that were put forward, one publicly and then one apparently, I don't know what to say about that. But I think we should look at them both. Not that we have a vote. This is the city council's call. But they're going to be our marching orders. So if we haven't already, I think it's important for us to scrutinize them and exercise some critical thought. And
as far as,
oh, here you are.
Yeah, as far as our feedback to the city council regarding these two drafts, I recommend that we actually put together a set of notes from the commission on those two drafts in writing.
Okay.
which means that we should basically just assemble some notes based on the various commission members' points of view. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to come up with a statement that we all agree with. I think it's more because those two drafts are still in draft form. I think it would help the city council to actually get some feedback.
So are you recommending that each of us drafts our own position on those ordinances and that they all be submitted to the city council at a future meeting?
I think that would be a way to expedite the process so that we don't spend another month, since we do have them in hand now. And I appreciate your work on that, Lee. I think if we did that, at least they would get feedback on our thoughts, which might help them, refine the drafts or change them or merge them somehow. That way we won't get another city council meeting.
I'm game. Is that amenable to everybody else? Mary Ellen, your mic's off again.
How about now?
Hey, I can hear you now. Boy, technology is not our friend today.
I'll try not to touch anything. I guess, before I send off my first comment would be, what exactly is the function of the commission? Because that says a lot about how we're going to proceed. If we are going to review complaints or not, so what are we advising them about? That's what I want to know. Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Lee.
I think that's partially addressed in, I'm inclined to say, section 6.02 of the city charter. It's not like that's a blank slate that anything could be written on. It's already partially defined. The ordinance needs to basically flesh out what's already within the city charter.
Okay. Well, it still seems very vague to me. So you're saying it's Article 6? Wait a minute.
Okay, if people can bear with me, I can pull that up and give you chapter and verse. City charter. That is, section 6.05. And I'm just scrolling down and waiting for the internet to be my friend here. Come on. 508. 603. Police Advisory Commission. 605B, powers and duties. The governing body shall establish by ordinance the powers and duties of the commission, which shall act in an advisory capacity to the governing body regarding police policies and procedures, complaints regarding police activity that have been received by the city, and such other matters as the governing body may determine. So that's what's basically before the city council to follow through with and enact. The city charter actually tasks them with fleshing out the powers and duties of this body, consistent with the requirements of 6.05B. So, yeah, if it's consistent with the charter, then we're going to be reviewing complaints against the police department that have been submitted to the city or received by the city, I think is the actual language.
Yeah, in addition to other functions that the City Council wants us to undertake.
Miscellaneous duties is required. It's on every job description, and it's our plague sometimes.
Yeah.
But yes.
So I think that the two draft ordinances that have been written, that are actually committed to paper at this point, are an attempt to really look at what beyond just reviewing citizen complaints we're supposed to be doing. Now, Mary Helen feels that those two drafts are still vague, and that's what we need to feed back to the City Council. Because I really don't want to miss another month in getting feedback to them from us. We need to get that feedback in writing, because I can't depend on the fact that any of them are actually watching these videos. And since we had so many technical problems on this call, they popped off after 30 minutes, so we're now 40 minutes into it. So I think if we individually review these two documents and put together some thought in writing.
Shall we send them to you, and then you, as the chairman, can forward them to the commission? So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you'll just send them all together.
Yes, we can do it that way. That way they'll have our written feedback, and they can take that into account in their decision making on the drafts, and then we can go from there. And if necessary, we can review what's required. Those comments from us that I will compile into a group document. If it's necessary and correct, we can post those along with the next minutes in the agenda for public review and commentary as well.
Okay, what are we contemplating a deadline for submission?
I think if we can do this in the next week, it would be helpful. Like I said, I don't want to keep missing City Council meeting deadlines, so the quicker we can get them feedback, the better. So I think if we can do it in the next week, by next Thursday, I can get this off to everybody by Friday. By everybody, I mean the City Council.
Right.
Okay.
Kimberly, any thoughts?
Just a question of clarification. You're just wanting our feedback as commission members as to what our role and responsibilities are based on the two draft documents, right?
Yes, yes. For example, I'll give you two examples. Mary Helen just felt like you looked at the two drafts and still feels that they're fairly vague. I've looked at the two drafts, and I have specific feedback regarding things I think the drafts do not address. So that type of feedback to the City Council from members here, I think, will be helpful. And I know that Councilman Romero worked on this as the city attorney, so I think it'll allow them to have some input into their own review.
To be clear, our feedback, I don't believe, was solicited by the governing body. Was it, Roy, in your memory?
No, although in that council meeting where Romero's draft was discussed and commented on by the city attorney, they did mention that they needed to get the drafts to the police commission, which is us. So whether those comments are solicited or not, it is appropriate for us to give them feedback.
Yeah, common sense take on that would be that if they wanted to get it to us, they would be wanting our reaction to them. So
yes, I agree with that. So I think we should do that. We need to do it in writing. That way they can, and even if, I wouldn't even worry too much if all of us agree with each other specifically. I think our thoughts as members of the commission are important. And again, they didn't formally request feedback from us, but it is common sense they are looking for that, so we should provide it.
Well, that's the implication. Why would they give it to us unless they wanted us to look at it and tell them something?
Right. So we should do it. And the quicker the better, because they're going to more council meetings will come up. This will get, brushed aside with other more important matters, and time will go by. So. Okay. Any other thoughts on that? on that plan. So just write up, just review these few things, write up your thoughts, any suggestions for things that are not being addressed. If you feel that that they are vague, please specify why you think they're vague. That our feedback to them is as clear and as actionable as possible.
Okay.
Okay. So do I hear a motion that we, as individual members of the commission, provide written feedback to the city council on the 2 different drafts of the ordinance pertaining to the police commission?
So moved.
Okay, so we have a motion from Lee. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a second from Kimberly. All in favor, say aye or raise your hand. I think I can see you all.
Aye.
Good. Any opposed? No opposed. All right. We will do that. Okay, new business. I know that the chief probably had some comments, and we also have a representative here from the Tri-County Justice Center to talk about what kinds of services are available to individuals who are suffering from domestic abuse or stalkers or whatever. So, Chief, would you like to start off and introduce Karen?
Yes. How's everyone doing, first of all?
Hi there.
Good.
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, sorry, my mic was acting up earlier, but yeah, we wanted to kind of come with you guys, especially now during this month we have today, the Day of Unity for domestic violence to be held within the plaza. So I'll leave it to Ms. Pierce, and I appreciate you for being here and supporting.
You want me to? My turn? Yeah, okay.
Trying to get a hearing, but yeah.
Oh, that's okay. We're having a vigil down at the plaza in collaboration with the DA's office. And we're having a vigil there, a candlelight vigil, and to honor those victims who have passed from domestic violence and their survivors now who are getting help or who have survived through the processes from their domestic violence. Family Justice Center has been there since 2005. We're now behind we're on Ridge Runner Road now, behind the Walmart in that area. And we provide services for children and parents, non-offending parents, to reconnect and strengthen that relationship again. We provide therapy groups. We provide grief and loss. We provide holistic programs such as acupuncture and massage, which is very, of course, important for the health and the mental health and for the stress and pain and suffering that survivors and victims have gone through. We also provide advocacy and support, and this is basic case management to help survivors with resources, referrals, and different things of that sort. We also have legal advocacy where we help with restraining orders. We support and go with survivors to court during this process. We also have therapy and group therapy for survivors and victims of domestic violence. We also hold a safe house at the Family Justice Center. It's the first safe house outside of CYFD in history in the Tri-County area. So we oversee the areas of San Miguel, Mora, and Guadalupe. So we have those areas in which we provide services. Excuse me. We're in the sheriff's office in Mora at this time. Most of our clients like to come from those areas, like to come into Las Vegas because the towns are a little bit small and people can see them going into the organizations and different things like that. We provide virtual services, especially during the COVID, and we provide in-house services and direct services at the agency. We're in the process now. We provide also education, skills building, things of that sort. We are now in the process of getting a committee together and to develop a shelter. So we've been thinking about this for some time now, actually for quite a few years, and we're going to start that process now in looking into doing that, trying to get a committee together, people who are interested in having a shelter in Las Vegas, and trying to, of course, provide money to build that shelter, etc. So we're actually just in the beginning and the baby stages of that process. We also provide education on teen dating violence and domestic violence within the Tri-County area. We are probably one of the, we are the only domestic violence agency that goes out there and does that. And we sometimes do it with collaboration with the DA's office at times. So this is what we do with the case management. We help with childcare. We help with connections with different resources. We help, of course, with restraining orders. Safety, of course, is our main goal. We help women and families go into shelters when necessary or safe houses when necessary. So we provide that kind of service. Our partners mainly are law enforcement, district attorney. We have about 26 partners within the community that work with us. Of course, CYFD and different agencies like that. I've been working and had partners with law enforcement since 2007. I've been there a few years now and had a very good relationship with law enforcement. Law enforcement sends us the restraining orders along with CYFD and different places. And of course, people can go in and self-refer. But law enforcement is our main source of referrals in the agency. During the COVID, referrals went down, and we were having, of course, difficulty on how we were going to interact with clients, etc. During this process. But we've developed programs that became virtual and where we could still provide services to our clients in a safe manner. I have to say that since you've been the chief of police, we have probably received the most referrals to our organization. So I thank you for that. And because it's very important that the officers understand the process with helping victims of domestic violence. So Chief Salazar has had some meetings with me and has agreed to allow us to go in and train on restraining orders and different subjects at the office, which I think is very important because you have officers coming in and out, and some have not been trained on, especially the temporary restraining orders, the emergency restraining orders. So we go in and we train the officers on the process of working with the restraining orders, how to fill them out, and etc. and some of the domestic violence, some of the new laws that have come out, and things of that sort. So we also work very closely with the state police and the sheriff's department, and have done that for quite some time. We have partners in our organization. We have a 24-hour domestic violence advocate through the state police, and we also have state police in our organization. We also work with Kimberly in reference to working with interns for therapy and for advocacy within the facility. I am also on the coalition, New Mexico Coalition for Domestic Violence Board of Directors. So at any time, if you would like to speak to me in reference to anything that you have questions on about domestic violence, please feel free to do that. Oh yeah, one other program that I forget to tell you about is one of our holistic programs. So we teach relaxation, meditation, tapping, and different forms of techniques for clients to relax, etc. We have a doctor of Chinese medicine who also helps with herbs and teaching about herbs and health and different things like that. We also have a Dress for Success program where we have clothes, jewelry, makeup, different things of that sort, so that if our survivors need to go to court and they don't have access to these things, we have them available for them. Or if they're going to apply for a job, we have this kind of stuff available for them, suits, dress pants, dress shirts, etc. We also have a workout program in our organization that has machines in the organization where survivors can work out, and videos where they can work out, yoga, different things of that sort. And we have that because the survivors can't go into Vegas, because Vegas is small, and go into the rec center and start working out because they're afraid they might come in contact with with the perpetrators. So we developed this about 2 years ago in the organization, and the survivors can use this at any time. We've always worked with children, but we are have a specialty program now where the children are now receiving therapy, and they're receiving play therapy and different things like that. So we do have group rooms for children. We have group rooms for training. We have group rooms for skills and development, resume writing, just about anything you can think of, we have in the organization to help with the success and well-being of the survivors. So there is some misconcept about domestic violence agencies that they only work with women. So that is not true. We have, of course, about 98% of our clientele is women, but we also work with men. So we work with any person who's experiencing violence in their life, domestic violence. So it has to be domestic violence. We don't work with anybody. It can't be civil. It has to be domestic violence. And unfortunately, sometimes we have people who are sent to us for civil cases. We do not handle civil cases with restraining orders or in any other manner. So it's just basically domestic violence. We have been in this area for since 2010, I believe. And we started off there by DBIB, and received some money from legislation to build us a building. And we decided to build in the area that we're at due to the fact that we're a continuum of services within the organization. So the organization is built in a circle when you go through it, so that our clients don't have to go all over the place to get services because it's very difficult for them and it's unsafe. But we built that building there because of the services there. We have CYFD, we have juvenile justice, we have doctor's offices, we have motor vehicles, we have counseling services, etc. So that we have ISP there, so that there are services all around us for our services towards our survivors. We provide usually around 600 clients a year. And that would be including any kind of training and education within the community. So our outreach is basically going into the community, giving information out, talking about domestic violence, where we're at, also talking about our partners within the organization. We also have OASIS therapy within our organization as a partner. When we have survivors and they need a little bit more, how should I say, therapy with more severe mental health issues, OASIS is there to take on that service for us. Our therapists provide support therapy, support counseling. So we teach a lot of techniques about anxiety. We teach a lot about education and different things of that kind of stuff to our clientele. We're funded through Office on Violence Against Domestic Violence and through a cabinet through CYFD, which is their domestic violence cabinet. So those are our two major funders. We're also funded through New Mexico Women's Organization out of Santa Fe, and they actually oversee our holistic programs at the organization. We're a small organization. We have a small staff. So we all have multiple hats, but our main focus is to help people who have unfortunately been in situations of domestic violence. So I know that there's been some discussion about maybe safe houses and shelters and that, but I wanted to let you know that we're in the beginning process of looking into that. And getting the committee, of course, it takes a long time to get that going, but we are in that process. There's two ways that we're looking at it. When I had the building built where we are on Ridge Runner, we were going to add the shelter to our facility, sort of have a walkway and then the shelter. So that was one way we were looking at the shelter. And then another way we were looking at it is maybe renting a place or something of that sort, somewhere in the city, or buying a building in the city. So we're looking at different options on how we want to proceed with the shelter in our organization. We're a small city, so we're not one organization who goes out there and we hide. We're there. We're open of who we are. We're open about where we're located, so that everybody knows that we have officers in our building. We have never had problems. Hi, Joseph. We have never had problems with perpetrators and that. And I think that's because we have the police in the building. So when the women go into our organization, they're safe. And they know that they're safe when they're there. So we do treatment plans, assessments, skills building, etc., in helping with domestic violence. So that's where we're at, and Domestic Violence Month So of course we're all, other than me, I am going to have surgery. So I'm prepping for it tonight after I get off of this meeting. And then, but we do have my board there. The district attorney is there, Tom Clayton, and in the celebration of those survivors who have received help and those who have passed, we want to honor them from domestic violence and do this candle vigil. It starts at 6 o'clock at the plaza. So you will see purple ribbons throughout the city. And that's because it's Domestic Violence Month, and we want you to be aware of domestic violence and that people know what domestic violence is and not to be silent and to report domestic violence and to have access to services within the community so that people can have a life free from violence. And that's where we're at. And it's a great organization. It's a great organization in the community. We're through the Family Justice Centers from San Diego. Under the President's Alliance, he picked 13 organizations out of the United States. So there was probably thousands of applications and proposals, but he picked 13 organizations to proceed with the domestic violence agencies, the Family Justice Centers. Tri-County Family Justice Center was one of the first organizations through this, through the president. So we're the smallest rural organization from the Family Justice Center, although we do the same work, just in a smaller city. We're sisters of the Family Justice Centers all through the United States. We're now in Mexico, we're in Sweden, we're just all over now. So even internationally, in Europe and those types of places. Yes, Antonio?
Is anyone, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt if I was interrupting something, but can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I think my mic gave out again.
And it looks like Kimberly Blea is having some issues too. She's been off and on here several times in the last 5 minutes. I got kicked off myself for several minutes. It just said I had no network connection, which was odd.
I'm here, Lee. I can hear you all. I got kicked out but got back in, but it's not showing my video even though it's not off. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm here with you all.
And meanwhile, Dr. Whiteman has joined us. So.
But this is where we're at, and we're at 2534 Ridge Runner. And I'll give you my information on the chat if you're you need anything, interested in anything. If you would like me to go in and teach, or if you know somebody who's in this situation and you would like help with this, with domestic violence, or a friend or a family member, whatever the situation is, you can call me or contact me at any time. And I hope you see us out there. We're going to be doing a lot more advertising, and we'll be more out in the field now that restrictions have lifted. This last year has been difficult for everybody, including us. And now that restrictions have lifted, we're doing more of our services, direct services, rather than virtual, unless the survivors are asking to only have virtual services at this time. Of course, we're following all CDC rules and guidelines in that process. We're also looking for an advocate and a therapist, an additional. So if you know of anybody, send them my way.
Okay.
We got sound back again. We're good. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Terry, something to just keep in mind. I don't know if this would fulfill the needs of what you have as it relates to the Family Justice Center, but I'm also the board president of Kids Counseling, and something that we've been able to do and Brina's been able to do there to fulfill the need for therapists is offering through telehealth services.
Right, so we are doing that.
Yeah, so that might be an option in which you're able to recruit some therapists.
And with kids counseling, we refer to kids counseling with our children, but now we started our new program. But all our children are now going to, not all of them, but our children are going to be working, of course, in our facility with our therapists and through our program if it's domestic violence. But we will continue to refer down to kids counseling because, of course, there's other children who aren't in the domestic violence situation or witness domestic violence. But, you know, the waiting list for children is pretty large right now. And we see that, you know, especially in small communities and that kind of thing. But we are doing telehealth with therapy also. So I know that is very, very helpful.
So,
thank you.
So Terry, I have a few questions, and some of these questions are on behalf of the public who will probably be watching this video if they're not watching it live right now. And those are, can you define the difference? You said that you focus entirely on domestic violence, not any kind of civil violence. So can you define the difference?
It's intimate partner violence. So it has to be an intimate partner violence that we work with. And that is somebody you live with, someone who's living in your household, such as a boyfriend or a husband, and different aspects like that. So
okay, so it does not include stalkers.
Yes, we do stalking, sexual, and domestic violence, teen dating violence. So stalking would be included. Stalking is very difficult to prove. So we work with survivors in the process of how do you prove stalking and how do you go about that.
And what are the legal limitations for getting a restraining order in the state of New Mexico? I've heard different things. It has to be a husband or you know, et cetera. It doesn't matter.
For domestic violence, it has to be an intimate partner.
So even if the boyfriend does not live in the house, that's considered an intimate partner.
Intimate partner.
Okay. All right. Because I heard otherwise, but thank you for clarifying that. A couple of other quick questions I had is in terms of your various services, are they applied kind of across the board? So it's just based on need. So if somebody is a part of your program, they can access like the Oasis services or et cetera, just out of need. In other words, it's not a categorical thing where they have to meet certain criteria.
They have to meet the criteria of an intimate partner. So they have to have been abused. They can witness domestic violence as they grew up. They could have had past domestic violence from a past partner, but yet they're not having domestic violence right now in their situation. So as long as that domestic violence was in there, that could be physical, hitting, slapping, punching, pushing. That could be financial, where they're not allowed to have access to their money. That could be emotional, psychological abuse.
So you just evaluate the specific case and provide whatever's needed. Okay, no, that's fantastic.
It has to be in that realm, which is pretty broad, you know, in reference to what we can help. We don't work with perpetrators or the offenders at any point. Offenders aren't even allowed in our area or in our building at that time. Although there are still survivors who are with their offenders, and we still support them.
Right.
So there's no judgment there. We're there for the survivors, and it is their decision in reference to their lives and where they're at, and we still support them.
Okay. And can you talk a little bit about the difference between a safe house and a shelter?
Well, there's a difference. Like our forensic unit is a safe house for children, and it's basically where they go in, and we have 2 separate rooms, and one is for the advocate and the child, for the advocate speaking with the child, and it's being filmed, and the other is for maybe police officers, attorneys, or whoever's in there watching, and as they are processing that, and then those videos are taken to court, for the trials or whatever is happening. That's one way. Another way with the safe house is maybe shelters, immediate shelters. So it might be in a one-night stay or something of that sort. I don't want to say where it is, but a one-night stay, or they just need maybe 2 nights in a safe house until we can get them wherever else they need to be. A shelter, they can stay at a longer period. So inside the shelters, we have therapists, advocates, and it just depends on the shelter where they can take their children and different things like that. So they're getting the services in the shelter, the same services that we have at our organization.
I see. No, that's helpful.
That's how we work in our small town in Vegas. Yeah, now, there are some cities that have safe houses that people can go to. That is exactly what it is, safe house.
Yeah. So I have one last question. I'm sure other people have questions too, and that is, you talked about referrals from the police. Let's say it's an indirect thing, like a mother who has a daughter who's with an abusive boyfriend. Can she make a direct referral, or does all of your referrals have to go through police?
Oh, no, we can get a referral from anybody.
Okay.
We can get a referral from your neighbor, from anybody. The only thing is the confidentiality. Once we get the referral and we connect with the client, the confidentiality is very stern. So we can't talk to mothers and fathers, and we can't even talk to the police officers or anybody, courts or anything, until that survivor gives us permission to do that, and that's written permission. So she has complete control of her situation. If she doesn't want us speaking to anybody, we don't. So we have to have permission for everything that we do, speak to anybody. When a client comes into our organization, they might come with a support system. The support system sits out, and we take the survivor in, and we do a assessment and intake and registration with them, safety planning, etc. with them. And they need to give us during that time permission to speak to anybody on their behalf. And it also has to be very, they need to let us know exactly what we're allowed to say and how we need to interact with and who it is and that kind of thing. So they can walk out, they can get permission, written permission, fill out the form for us to talk to, let's say their mother. They can walk out the door and then call us and say, nope, I changed my mind. And that stops right then. So the confidentiality is very, very, very high at the organization.
Okay, well, I really appreciate all the work that you and my colleagues are doing. And Kimberly also, tremendous work. So hugely appreciate it.
Please remember that in different cities and towns and that safe houses and shelters and that are all different because it's based on the culture of the communities, and what we have. That's why we have a holistic program at our organization for the acupuncture, herbs, and different things of that sort.
I see. No, that's fantastic. Okay, that's all the questions I had. I'm sure others have questions too.
She was.
Mary Ellen has her hand raised.
I have my hand raised. No face, but my hand is raised. Hi, thank you for joining us. I had a couple of questions, and one of them is on the problem of having shelter and safe house, which sounds like one is temporary and one is a little bit longer. Do we have and that's a recurring question and a recurring need. Do we have an agreement or some support from the local hotels that on occasion they could donate a room?
We have agreements within the community, but I really can't go into detail with that based on safety of the clients, especially if it's public. You know, we're getting recorded publicly. But I can definitely get a hold of you, or you can get a hold of me, and I can discuss that with you.
Well, maybe put your number on the chat so that I can call you about that. I served in another community before, and that was also an issue. And so what they arranged was some kind of agreement with the lodgers committee in town that the people, the various hotels would donate a certain number of nights for a month or a period of time that would help alleviate when there's overflow situations or emergency situations. And I thought,
for shelter, we have to go out to Santa Fe and Taos.
I know. So see, that's what I'm saying. Is sometimes things happen and we need an emergency, as in not 3 hours away, but right now. And that might be a way to expand some of the resources for the victims.
Right. And I will assure you that we have the resources.
Okay, that's good to know. And then I have another question, and that is if you could explain to, wow, this sounds really weird here. It's just very strange.
Lee, if you could shut your microphone off. We're getting echo.
Shut my microphone off?
No, I said Lee to shut his microphone off.
Oh, okay. So if perhaps you could explain to the members of the commission and all other people who are participating in this, the significance of strangulation as opposed to other types of domestic abuse. And of course, this is a huge topic, always, certainly among the anti-abuse community. And of course, it's become a nationwide and international focus because of the Gabby Petito case. Could you explain to us what the significance of strangulation is?
Well, strangulation, if you're being strangled, and people say it's choking, and it's not choking, it's strangulation. And with strangulation is when they're putting their hands around your neck, of course. It's 750 times more likely that you could die from domestic violence. So that's pretty significant. Also, too, with strangulation, strangulation can be a day later. People can pass a week later. People can pass a month later. Strangulation is very significant because if you're being strangled, your chances of being murdered are very, very high. Compared to other aspects of domestic violence, 750 times more than other domestic violence situations. That's pretty high.
In other words, a particular focus on anger and on the spectrum from minor, if there is such a thing, minor domestic abuse to fatalities, it tends towards the fatality end of the spectrum.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Okay.
Of course, we never say that any kind of abuse is minor, and but it's definitely you're more at risk.
Right. I think I said that. I'm not saying trying to minimize anything. I'm acknowledging that there's a spectrum, with fatality being, of course, the worst.
Right. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you.
But we're seeing more and more strangulation now. We're seeing, you know, the devastating effects from strangulation. That, like I said, it can be a week, it could be a month, you know, later that somebody could pass or have the effect of it. And you're seeing loss of memory. An example of that is sometimes when survivors are being questioned during the time of the incidents, they forget, or they sort of sound like their story's not straight, or they're confused about the situation. And that's because of the lack of oxygen that went to the brain when they were strangled. You know, so sometimes survivors, when they're being interviewed, there could be times when it sort of seems like, well, they're confused about really what happened. Well, of course they are, right? Sure. So strangulation now, like I said, we're seeing it more and more and more. The effects of it are extreme and very, very dangerous and deadly. But it is, as you say, ma'am, one of the more fatal situations when it comes to domestic violence.
Okay, we're starting to run up against the 4:30 time period here. Are there other questions for Terry?
I don't have a question, Roy, but I would just like to, I've known Terry for a long time. We worked together as partners when I was the director of our advocacy center here at the university. And I just want to thank Terry and her team for continuously serving the community, but also in continuing to identify ways to enhance and expand upon services being offered to survivors of domestic violence in the community. So thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you. You've done great work too. Hey, could I just say one more thing about our organization is that all of our services are free. The therapy, advocacy, everything we do is free. We don't charge for anything at our organization. That's a good thing.
Yes, thank you.
And if you can be there tonight, that would be fantastic, you know, to honor the survivors and victims of domestic violence. God bless them. Like I said, I'm in the middle of a procedure I need to go to, but God bless them. Our hearts go out to all of the families who have lost family members due to domestic violence. It's a hard thing, and it's a hard situation. We're going to have a woman on behalf of the Family Justice Center speaking about her situation there, who has become very, very successful with the help of Tri-County Family Justice Center, and of course all of her willpower and gumption in doing what she did to help herself. And if you're listening, please go there and support your community. We know that there is nobody in our community, or very few people in our community, who want violence around them, in their communities, in their schools, etc. So we go out as young as the middle schools and teach about violence, dating violence, etc. So we used to only go to the high schools. Now we're going into middle schools and teaching.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And my last comment is I agree with Kimberly. I think the range of services that you offer is really, really impressive. And I know it took you a long time to develop all of that. So that's really pretty amazing.
And thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing us to be in your community and help in this way, and support the people within the community in Las Vegas, Guadalupe, and Santa Rosa and Mora. So that's all of our counties that we're out there. And if you need us, we're there. Our phone number is 505-718-7300. You can call us. We also partner with CBS for after hours. So you can call CBS for the after hours. And if you need help, they can guide you into getting into a shelter or other aspects in reference to your domestic violence situation. Remember, once you walk into our organization, you're a survivor. You've done it. You've done it. That's a big step. A big step. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So if there's no other new business or discussion, I think we're at the point where we should adjourn. Is there any last comments before we do that?
If I could, I just want to let everyone know, I guess what the police department is doing. I know you guys can't see me. I apologize. I have some issues with my camera, but we have 7 new employees. 2 of those are certified. We have 7 new vehicles coming in. They're already on order.
Wow.
Hopefully be seeing those at the department by February, sorry. And also, we also have our lieutenant retiring, Lieutenant Monica Vigil. She's retiring this year. We're going to be presenting her a plaque at council and also to acknowledge her retirement at the council meeting in November. And I know you guys had mentioned in the past, if you guys want to come and do our Milo system and kind of see how things are, I guess, how some of the officers do some of the ride-alongs. If you guys want to participate in that, anyone from the council here can come to the police department, set up a meeting or a time, and we'll get that taken care of. And also next week, sorry, there's a little bit. I'm trying to be fast. There's next week we're going to start our in service for our new recruits. So if anyone from the council wants to attend, you guys are more than welcome to. There's some classes that will just, if you guys really are interested in coming, please let us know either on Monday or Tuesday, and we can set up some times and dates where you guys can come in. Some of the trainings you guys can view and sit in on. So that'd be great for the council if you guys are interested.
Yeah, that sounds great. So when are the actual trainings?
So we are going to start next Tuesday on the, what is that, the 26th for our in-service. If you guys, like anyone from the council is interested, you guys can come in on Monday or on the 25th or even on the 26th, because the 26th is just orientation. They have some other meetings they have to do just to get organized for the length of the training. So you guys want to come in next week, let us know, and we'll set you guys up with some time and dates.
Okay, thank you for that invitation. I know that I'm interested, and I'm also interested in experiencing the Milo system. So thank you very much. Okay, any other last business or comments?
No.
Do I hear a motion to?
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay.
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Kimberly to adjourn, a second from Lee. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, and all those opposed? Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
Everyone have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.